Welcome to the new video, Old Cryptocoin Today. We're exploring the fascinating world of rare Elizabeth II coins, specifically the One Shilling from 1953, 1954, and 1957. Some of these coins have sold for impressive prices at auctions, and collectors around the world are always on the hunt for them. The 1953 Elizabeth II One Shilling was the very first of her reign, making it historically significant. In top uncirculated condition, it can fetch hundreds of dollars, with rare proof examples reaching even higher. The 1954 issue is slightly rarer. Collectors love its limited mintage and crisp designs. Exceptional graded coins have been known to sell for strong premiums, sometimes several $100s depending on condition. By 1957, production was more common, but pristine examples are still valuable. Proof-like or error-struck coins from this year can command surprising prices at auctions. So, whether it's the first 1953 issue, the scarcer 1954, or the collectible 1957, these Elizabeth II One Shilling coins remain treasures for numismatists. Always check your old coins. You never know what rare gem you might be holding. Narrator, thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share for more rare coin discoveries here on Liberty Ledger Crypto. Step 1 the year was 1953. Etched in history for more than one reason. Across the United Kingdom and the Commonwealth, celebrations were underway to mark the coronation of Queen Elizabeth II, a young monarch stepping into the spotlight after the passing of her father, King George VI. And with a new queen came a new era in coinage. Fresh designs, new inscriptions, and a symbolic mark of continuity and change. Among these coins was the 1953 Elizabeth II One Shilling, a small silver-colored coin that today stands as one of the most fascinating and surprisingly valuable pieces of British numismatic history. Though at first glance it may appear ordinary, certain rare issues of this coin have fetched staggering prices at auction, transforming a humble shilling into a treasure that collectors chase with relentless passion. To understand why the 1953 One Shilling is so special, we must first explore the context of the time. Britain was recovering from the harsh aftermath of World War II, rationing was still fresh in memory, and the economy was gradually stabilizing. Coins of the realm were more than mere currency. They were national symbols, representing strength, continuity, and identity. When Queen Elizabeth II ascended the throne, it was imperative that her image appeared on new coinage. Thus, 1953 marked the very first year coins would bear her youthful portrait, engraved by the talented artist Mary Gillick. Unlike the later, more mature portrayals of the Queen, this was a softer, almost idealistic image. Elizabeth in her 20s, wearing a laurel wreath, a design that has since become iconic. The One Shilling coin itself carried with it an interesting duality. In 1953, the United Kingdom was still officially composed of different realms with separate coin representations. As a result, there were actually two designs of the 1953 shilling, one for England, featuring the crowned lion standing atop a crown, and one for Scotland, bearing the heraldic Scottish lion rampant. This dual design approach was a way of honoring the historic identities of both nations, and it makes collecting shillings from this era especially intriguing. For collectors, the question is always, which design do you have, what condition is it in, and does it belong to the special proof set issued in 1953? Now, while millions of 1953 One Shillings were struck for circulation, the coins that carry the highest value today are not the everyday pieces people carried in their pockets. Instead, they are the special proof versions, struck to mark the coronation year. The Royal Mint issued these in polished sets intended not for general circulation, but for presentation, commemoration, and collectors. Proof coins are carefully struck multiple times with specially prepared dies, resulting in crisp detail and a mirror-like finish. For the 1953 shilling, the proof issues are among the most sought after, and when found in pristine condition, they can command remarkable sums at auction. But rarity is not just about proof versus circulation. Errors, misstrikes, and unusual minting variations can transform a coin from common to legendary. For example, collectors are always on the lookout for shillings that may have been struck slightly off-center, feature double lettering, or exhibit anomalies in the metal. These minting quirks are rare, and in the case of the 1953 shilling, Such specimens have occasionally surfaced, fetching far beyond their face value. Imagine holding a coin worth 1/20th of a pound, only to discover it sell for hundreds or even thousands of pounds because of a tiny error in its production. The highest prices for the 1953 Elizabeth II One Shilling often appear in the numismatic marketplace when a coin is certified as near perfect, graded by professional bodies such as NGC or PCGS. A coin graded proof 65 or higher, meaning virtually flawless, can reach astonishing levels of demand. Some collectors seek these coins not merely for their numismatic worth, but as historical artifact of the dawn of a new Elizabethan era. After all, 1953 was not only about coins. It was the year Britain broadcast the coronation on television for the first time, symbolizing a new, modern monarchy for a changing world. Over the years, stories have emerged of these coins being discovered in unexpected places. A family inheriting a proof set from a grandparent who kept it untouched in a drawer. An attic clear-out leading to the discovery of a small case of 1953 coins, pristine and forgotten, and in more dramatic cases, rare examples appearing in auctions, igniting bidding wars among collectors eager to own a piece of numismatic royalty. While common circulation shillings from 1953 might only be worth a pound or two, the rarest examples, particularly high-grade proofs, have been known to sell for hundreds, sometimes even over 1,000 pounds depending on condition and demand. What makes this coin so beloved is not just its scarcity or price tag, but the symbolism it carries. The young portrait of Elizabeth II reminds us of a time of renewal in British history, a hopeful post-war nation embracing a new monarch. The dual designs of England and Scotland reflect the unity and complexity of the United Kingdom itself. And the very fact that a coin of such small denomination can rise to incredible value speaks to the passion of collectors and the deep stories coins hold within them. As we dive deeper into the numismatic world, it's fascinating to see how something so ordinary as a shilling can unlock chapters of history, art, economics, and even politics. The 1953 Elizabeth II One Shilling is more than a coin. It's a symbol of coronation, of national pride, and of the enduring allure of collecting. Whether you're a seasoned numismatist or a curious newcomer, this coin reminds us that treasures are often hiding in plain sight, in the pockets of history, and in the collections of those who cherish them. So the next time you come across a 1953 shilling, take a closer look. Is it the English or Scottish design? Is it worn from circulation or preserved in gleaming proof condition? Could be one of those rare, high-grade examples worth far more than its humble face value. The journey of discovery is what makes coin collecting so thrilling. And who knows? Perhaps in your hands lies the next most expensive 1953 One Shilling, a relic of a queen's first year on the throne, and a testament to how even the smallest coin can carry a legacy of greatness. Step 2, collectors and history lovers. Today, we are diving deep into the fascinating world of British coins, focusing on a truly special and rare treasure, the 1954 Elizabeth II One Shilling coin. This coin may look small, but its history, rarity, and collector demand have made it one of the most fascinating coins from the mid-20th century. And believe it or not, some examples of this coin have sold for thousands of dollars at auctions, making it one of the most expensive shillings in circulation history. In this video, we'll explore the background of the coin, its connection to Queen Elizabeth II's early reign, the design details, the rarity factor, collector stories, auction results, and why it holds such great value today. So stick around till the end, because this journey through history and coin collecting is going to be amazing. To understand why the 1954 Elizabeth II One Shilling is so important, we first need to set the stage. Queen Elizabeth II ascended the throne in February 1952 after the passing of her father, King George VI. Her coronation took place in June 1953, and with it came a new era of coinage. For centuries, every monarch's portrait had appeared on the nation's coins, so the transition from George VI to Elizabeth II was a historic moment in British numismatics. The first coins featuring Elizabeth II's portrait were minted in 1953 to mark her coronation year. But here's the interesting part. 1954 coins were never meant for mass circulation. In fact, the British Royal Mint struck extremely limited numbers of coins that year, mostly for record purposes collectors or as trial strikes. That's why the 1954 shilling is so rare. At the time, the shilling was still an important denomination in Britain's pre-decimal system, equal to 1/20th of a pound sterling. That may not sound like much today, but back then, a shilling could buy you a hot meal, groceries, or even a bus ticket. Now, let's take a close look at the design of the 1954 shilling. On the obverse side, we see the young portrait of Queen Elizabeth II designed by Mary Gillick. This image became one of the most iconic depictions of the young queen, capturing her fresh, youthful profile with no crown, an unusual choice, symbolizing modernity and accessibility. This portrait was used on coins from 1953 to 1970, and for many collectors, it's one of the most elegant designs in modern British coinage. On the reverse side, the design depended on whether the coin represented England or Scotland. You see, shillings were minted in two different types. The English shilling, featuring the lion passing guardian atop a crown. The Scottish shilling, showing a crowned lion rampant within a shield. This tradition reflected the United Kingdom's political union, giving recognition to both England and Scotland within the currency system. The 1954 Elizabeth shillings followed the same pattern, but since very few were struck, both versions, if you can find them, are incredibly rare today. So why is the 1954 One Shilling so rare and valuable? The key reason is that the Royal Mint did not release coins for general circulation in 1954. Most coins dated that year were either specimens, proofs, or patterns. That means they were struck in very small numbers, often to test designs, or to keep records in the Mint's collection. For shillings specifically, no standard circulation issue exists for 1954, making the few surviving examples a true rarity. Some coins were presented in collector sets, while others were stored within the Royal Mint archives. Rarity always drives value in numismatics, but when you add the historical significance of Elizabeth II's early reign, the value skyrockets. Let's talk about money, because this is where things get really exciting. The 1954 Elizabeth II shilling has been reported to fetch astonishing prices at auctions. Depending on condition, provenance, and whether it is the English or Scottish version, these coins can sell for hundreds or even thousands of dollars. For example, certain proof versions and trial strikes have been valued between $2,000 to $5,000 at major numismatic auctions. Some rare examples in near-perfect condition with certified grading have gone even higher. To put that into perspective, that's thousands of times more than the coin's original face value of 1 shilling. That's like turning a simple 5-cent piece into a treasure worth more than a car. Collectors prize these coins not just for their monetary value, but for their rarity and the story they carry. Owning one is like holding a piece of early Elizabethan numismatic history. If you're a coin collector or just starting a hobby, you may wonder what makes the 1954 shilling so desirable. The answer lies in 3 major factors. 1. Low mintage. With hardly any struck for circulation, the coin is practically unavailable in the wild. 2. Historical significance. It belongs to the very early years of Queen Elizabeth II's reign, making it symbolically important. 3. Condition and provenance. Coins preserved in mint state condition are especially valuable, and if they come from a known collection or auction house, their worth multiplies. Many collectors also see it as a missing link in a complete set of Elizabeth II shillings. Imagine having every year's shilling except 1954. It would drive you crazy. That's why serious collectors go to extreme lengths and pay extreme prices to secure one. The 1954 shilling also has a fascinating place in modern numismatic history. Queen Elizabeth II's reign lasted over 70 years, making her the longest reigning monarch in British history. Her coinage spans decades, with dozens of designs and denominations. But among all these, the early years, 1953 and 1954, hold a special charm. The rarity of the 1954 coins has kept collectors talking about them for decades. Online coin forums, collector groups, and even casual hobbyists often share stories of finding, or dreaming of finding, a 1954 shilling. It had become a kind of holy grail coin for British numismatics. With Elizabeth II's passing in 2022, interest in her early coins has surged even more. Collectors want to preserve pieces of her remarkable legacy, and the 1954 shilling represents the very beginning of her journey as monarch. So there you have it, the story of the most expensive 1954 Elizabeth II One Shilling coin. A coin never intended for circulation, now one of the rarest and most sought-after treasures in British numismatics. From its historical significance to its iconic Sab 3 Inches today's episode, we step back into the fascinating world of British numismatics to explore one of the most intriguing and valuable coins from Queen Elizabeth II's early reign, the 1957 One Shilling. This coin may look ordinary to many, but collectors know the truth. Certain varieties, mint conditions, and historical context make it one of the most sought-after Elizabethan-era coins. By the end of this video, you'll know why the 1957 shilling is so special, what factors influence its value, and how some examples have fetched astonishing prices at auction. To understand the 1957 One Shilling, we first need to look at Britain in the 1950s. Post-war Britain was going through massive social and economic changes. Queen Elizabeth II had just ascended the throne in 1952, and coins bearing her youthful portrait began circulating in 1953. The shilling was a key denomination in pre-decimal currency. Worth 12 pence, it was an everyday coin for Britons, used in markets, pubs, buses, and shops. But while millions were minted, subtle differences between the English and Scottish reverse designs made them unique. In 1957, both versions were struck. English shilling, featuring crown lion standing on the royal crown. Scottish shilling, showing the crowned Scottish lion rampant inside a shield. Though common in circulation, high-grade, untouched examples from this year are remarkably rare, and that's where the true value lies. Let's take a closer look at the artistry of the coin. On the obverse, we see the first official portrait of Queen Elizabeth II designed by Mary Gillick. This portrait is iconic because it shows the young queen without a crown, wearing a laurel wreath instead. Collectors love this version because it represents the fresh beginning of her reign. On the reverse, we encounter the two different national symbols. The English reverse emphasizes England's heraldry, a proud lion standing over the crown. The Scottish reverse celebrates Scotland's fierce lion, an image filled with medieval power. Both designs were crafted with deep symbolism, showing unity but also acknowledging national identity within the United Kingdom. These artistic details are one reason why these coins are so cherished today. The Royal Mint produced millions of shillings in 1957, but most were used daily. That means a majority became scratched, worn, and lost over time. What makes some coins valuable today is not just the date, but how well they survived. Coins stored carefully, never entering circulation, are called uncirculated or mint state. These can show dazzling detail, sharp edges, and original mint luster. Even rarer are coins struck in proof-like conditions or special examples that were kept in presentation sets. Such coins are extremely scarce, and when they appear in auctions, collectors are willing to pay thousands to own them. So, what determines the value of a 1957 One Shilling? Let's break it down. 1. Condition. Coins are graded from fine to mint state. A worn example may only fetch a few dollars, while a perfect specimen can sell for hundreds or thousands. 2. Design type. Some collectors prefer the English reverse, others the Scottish. Rarity can fluctuate between the two depending on year and demand. 3. Errors and variants. Coins with minting errors, like off-center strikes, double dies, or misaligned edges, can skyrocket in value. 4. Provenance. A coin with a famous ownership history often attracts higher bids at auction. 5. Market demand. Coin values shift with collector interest. In recent years, demand for early Elizabeth II coins has grown sharply. Now for the exciting part, the most expensive sales. While an average circulated 1957 shilling might be worth just a couple of dollars, pristine uncirculated coins have shocked auction houses. For example, in top-grade mint state 65 or higher, these coins have sold for over $1,000. Rare proof-like strikes, especially if certified by grading companies like PCGS or NGC, can exceed $2,500. Collectors seeking to complete full sets of Elizabeth II coinage often compete fiercely, driving prices to new records. One particularly stunning Scottish reverse example sold for nearly £2,000 in the UK, setting a benchmark for its rarity. It's not just British collectors chasing these coins. Because Queen Elizabeth II ruled for over 70 years and her portrait appears on more coins than any monarch in history, global collectors are fascinated by her earliest coinage. Australian, Canadian, and New Zealand collectors often look back to the British shillings because they mark the beginning of a numismatic era. Many see these coins not only as currency, but as historic keepsakes of the longest reigning British monarch. In fact, interest has grown even more since Queen Elizabeth II's passing in 2022. Collectors are now racing to secure high-grade coins from her early reign, pushing values higher every year. If you're thinking of collecting or investing in a 1957 One Shilling, here are some tips. 1. Check the condition. Always look for sharp details and minimal wear. Avoid coins with heavy scratches. 2. Buy certified. Grading companies like NGC and PZGS protect against counterfeits and give coins market credibility. 3. Learn the difference. Understand English versus Scottish reverses. Some years are rarer in one type. 4. Watch for errors. Even small mistakes from the mint can make your coin extremely valuable. 5. Store safely. Use acid-free holders or capsules to preserve your coin's condition. So, what have we learned? The 1957 One Shilling may seem like a simple coin, but when preserved in top condition, it transforms into a valuable piece of British history. Its connection to Queen Elizabeth II's early reign, its dual national designs, and its survival in rare pristine states make it a true numismatic treasure. Some of these coins have reached auction prices that leave collectors astonished, turning a once everyday coin into a highly prized artifact. If you have a 1957 One Shilling sitting in a drawer, it might be worth far more than you think. Check its condition, look for rarity, and you might just have a hidden gem. Thank you for joining us on this journey into the fascinating world of coin collecting. If you enjoyed this deep dive, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more videos on rare coins and collectibles. Until next time, keep your eyes open. You never know what treasures might be hiding in your chain.